Ukraine is preparing to take Crimea back by force. Well, that's according to the nation's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, and he made the statement during a press conference.
We are ready mentally. We're preparing technically, with weapons, reinforcements, the formation of brigades, in particular the assault brigades of different categories and nature.
Those intentions were declared despite the Pentagon officials' doubts on Ukraine's ability to retake the peninsula expressed early this month. The Crimean Republic joined Russia in 2014 after the majority of residents voted for the move in a referendum. However, its results were criticised as a sham by the majority of UN states and led to the West imposing its first sanctions on Moscow. The decision to join was greatly influenced by the repression towards its Russian-speaking population. Tensions began back in the 1990s when officials proclaimed that the Ukrainian language was the only official one in the nation and reached a tipping point following the 2014 Maidan uprising, which brought a nationalist government into power. Professor of Economics and Politics Jack Rasmus says that Zelensky's statement is aimed at his allies in the West.
Mr. Zelensky is completely dreaming, and I think it is. A lot of it is for show. A lot of it is to appease his Western backers, additional funding, additional weapons. He's a showman. I mean, he's not really a leader. Otherwise, he wouldn't be allowing the future of his country, the soldiers, the young soldiers being killed senselessly in the battlefield. Crimea is too important historically, culturally, and strategically. I think Russia will defend those areas and defend the populations in there. And I think they're justified doing that as well. I'm concerned that let's assume that if by some magical, mystical way that Ukraine did take those lands back over, I'm concerned about the population because his so-called deoccupation is probably more than just military. I think you'd see an ethnic cleansing going on.
One of the symbols of unity between the peninsula and mainland Russia is the Crimean Bridge, which was opened in 2018. In October of 2022, the bridge was bombed, with Moscow claiming that Ukrainian special forces were responsible for the attack. Kiev, though, denied the allegations. Vladimir Putin has called the incident a terror attack directed against critically important civilian infrastructure. Russian officials have said that Ukraine doesn't have the capability to seize Crimea, but is simply using its voice for propaganda purposes.